welcome back to the channel that knows nothing. I'm Jim and let's get to it. So today we are diving on into the 90s movies book tag. So let's go. Number 1 in this tag is She's All That. And the question that goes along with it is name a book couple that are an odd pairing, but they still seem to fit perfectly. And I am going with Elphaba and Fiyero. Yes, there is a book to it. It is not just a musical. In fact, it was a book first, although I think the musical is slightly better. The book is a bit strange, but also kind of a fun ride. But yes, in the book they end up together as well. Like, I think, if you've seen the musical, you know that there's a little bit back and forth and then they end up together. The book is a little bit more adult than the musical is. I mean, the musical is a little bit saucy in like one scene and then not really in any others. But yes, they do end up together. They kind of have they do have an affair, and then he dies, which is kind of what the musical does, except in a less dark way. But yes, I still think they kind of fit perfectly together in a very odd way. He is also kind of like different in the way he's described in the book is very different to what we see on the stage. But they're both kind of wacky characters that just end up like really meshing well together. And it's kind of sad that you don't see that played out a little bit further in the book. I mean, you do, but you don't. It's a very strange book. That's all I've got to say. Number 2 in this tag is The 10 Things I Hate About You, and the question that sits alongside it is a book that you have a love-hate relationship with, and I've gone with Stardust because I had very high expectations going into that book. It's Neil Gaiman for one thing, and also the movie is fucking fantastic. And I think on this occasion it's one of those things where I do like some of the stuff that happens in the movie and some of the stuff that happens in the book, but they don't cross over at all, which is annoying, and this is why I have a love-hate relationship for it. It's frustrating. Why isn't the good shit in both? Why does it have to be separate? Why can't it just be together? Number 3 in this tag is Clueless, and that is a character that is clueless, but you love them despite that, and I've picked Patch from Dancing Barefoot. They are an amazing character. I really like them as the central character, and I feel like the cover can be like misleading. It looks like there might be a love triangle involved, but no, they just don't know that there's this girl at school that's totally in love with them. It happens, you know. Not to me, but to others. Number 4 in this tag is Titanic, and that is a book that made you cry. And recently I listened to Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and I have never felt so sad in my entire life. That book, you go in with like expectations of like, ooh, this is like about friendship and like gaming, and it's like, ooh, alright, this will be fun. And then you're totally blindsided by the sadness that happens throughout the entire thing. Like, yes, friendship, struggles, happens, but also other things happen in it. And I don't want to spoil too much for people that haven't read it, but the people that have, you know what I'm talking about. Number 5 in this tag is American Pie, and that is name a book that makes you laugh. And I've not picked a book that has made me laugh, but a book that makes my heart happy, and therefore I'm like, this is inner laughter. I have picked Lore Olympus, which may seem like strange to you, but it also has like quite a sentimental value to me. I think it's like just a lovely read. There is darker parts to it, but it's also such a creative way to show the gods and tell a story, and I just think it's like, it makes my heart happy. Like, it's like so cool, and I love the graphic novel and the pictures, and it's just amazing. Number 6 in this tag is Can't Hardly Wait, and that is name a book with a crazy party in it. And I have picked Game of Thrones. Literally any party they throw in that, or like, gathering, wedding, whatever you want to call, nothing ends happily there. That is crazy party to me. Like, people would read this question probably be like, oh yeah, we'll pick a wild party from another book. No, I'm going with crazy, and the celebrations in Game of Thrones are crazy. It's that definition. Number 7 in this tag is Cruel Intentions, and that is name a character that you can never trust. And I'm picking the Skull from Lockwood & Co. because as much as you want to trust it, you don't. Like, you will kind of want to buy into what they're saying, but I'm also like, I don't trust you. You're like a dead person. I feel like you have malicious intents. And also, I've not finished that series. I think I have 2 more books to go. And so maybe they are trustworthy. But also, like, the Skull is a good time. Banterous time, that Skull is. But also, don't trust him. Keep him COVID distance away from me. Number 8 in this tag is Drive Me Crazy, and that is name your favorite couple that is a boy next door / girl next door type vibes. And I have picked the book where the crawdads sing, and no, it's not Chase Andrews and Kaya. It's Tate and Kaya, because that is classic. Like, he literally drives a boat near the place where she lives, and that's as close as I could get to this type vibe. That I actually liked. And admittedly, she doesn't stay with him, but they're endgame. They were endgame, so it's okay. Number 9 in this tag is Scream, and that is name a book with a memorable villain. And I've gone with the book Summer of Salt. But I don't want to say who the villain is because that'll give away the mystery. It is a very interesting book because I went in it with expectations. My friend was like, here's a gay book for you to enjoy. The cover's got girls on the front. And you're like, yay, I'm being set up for a fun time. And then I did have a fun time. It's a good book. I really liked it. But it got dark very quickly. So there's that about it. But also very intriguing read. If you want a mystery that's kind of a bit like, ooh, yikes, then it's the perfect book for you. Also, a little bit of gayness on the side, so we love that here, don't we? Question number 10 in this tag is The Craft, and that is name a book with witches in it. And I have gone with These Witches Don't Burn because I love seeing the different iterations of witches. I feel like I always have like an expectation of like, this is what a witch is in my mind. And it's kind of like very generic, and I always get very like, not blown back, but like intrigued by and like kind of delighted by the different versions of witches that people come up with in like stories. Mainly because it's not my go-to when I write. Generally don't write about witches or any of that sort of themes in books, or at least in my books. I don't really go with that vibe. I go a completely different direction. But it's always like fun to read those sort of books and you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of, I mean, it's not like, there are dark parts to this book, but it's kind of like a fun time. Learning about how witches work. Learning about how the world works. I like it. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, subscribe, because that is always nice, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.